Hey everybody, Cossack11 from the editing booth here. I just wanted to go over a few things that you're gonna want to comment on, and I'm gonna try and head those things off right at the beginning here. First off, we get the name of Hathaway's Gundam wrong multiple times in this. We call it the Gundam Valiant. It's not. It's the Gundam G or Xi, I think. I don't know. It's XI. We also repeatedly call the Messers Zaku's. You'll have to forgive us on that. Two other key elements to know going into this. Lana and I have watched this before, but what we have not done is watched Char's counterattack recently, which means we are missing a lot of detail from Char's counterattack that is referenced in this particular movie. Second, neither of us have read the novel series that this is based on, nor did we even know that this was based on a novel series until I looked it up after we had gotten done recording this. So bear those things in mind. And with that all said, enjoy our rewatch of Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mecha Rewatch, a special Christmas edition.
It's our Christmas special. I guess we do those.
I mean, why not?
Sure.
You voted for it. You requested it.
Yeah, it's not. Is this a Christmas movie? Can we call this a Christmas movie? It's no Die Hard.
There's not really any Christmas in it.
No, I don't even think it's set near Christmas.
No.
We should have found a mecha movie that was like set near Christmas.
We did.
You're no, I refuse.
Yeah, we watch it again.
It's funny because we have now. This is the second Gundam movie we are covering that just kind of ends where I don't feel like it should.
Yes, I agree.
If I had a nickel for every Gundam movie that ends before it's over, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But it's weird that it's happened twice.
And with Gundam, too.
Yeah, it's Gundam. Yeah.
It's not like we watched a different...
It's funny, because we also watched another Gundam movie. Because we watched Seed Freedom not that long ago. But we didn't cover it. We just watched it.
We just watched it.
And it was good. It was good, and it ended, and it was awesome.
Yeah. We watched it as like a palate cleanser between episodes of Gundam Wing.
Yeah, I can't remember. We watched like a particularly bad set of Gundam Wing episodes.
Yeah, like we went and got pizza.
Yeah. I think in that episode we do mention like, hey, we just watched Seed Freedom and it was way better than this.
Yeah, I think we did. Actually, I think we're getting close to that actual episode getting posted. So.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Because it was somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah, because we're done with Gundam Wing, but you people aren't done with Gundam Wing.
Oh no,
yet.
you have much more. You have have the better part of Gundam Wing to get through.
Yeah, you do, and it does get better,
and then it gets
worse.
Yeah,
but never as bad.
No, no. But this isn't a Gundam Wing.
No, we're not talking about Wing
episode. This is Gundam Hathaway.
Hathaway.
So we start in space.
Always in space.
Always in space.
In pseudo space, because gravity.
Oh god.
Gravity is half on here.
Yeah. So we start with an establishing shot of like the moon and Earth and 2 mobile suit carriers escorting this like luxury shuttle.
Yeah.
And then we go into the luxury shuttle. We get a shot
in a scene that almost wants to be like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Right. Almost. It like goes into the shuttle and there's like drinks floating and stuff. Like if you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, there is that scene where he's on the like commercial flight in space. And this kind of wants to be that.
Yeah, because we get like this weird thing where like the camera pulls through like in a bunch of weird artsy angles of like people doing just various things.
Various things about the craft. In ways that don't work. So gravity is off. People like float. Again, if this is an homage to 2001: A Space Odyssey, that's appropriate because that's what happens in that movie too, right? That's in fact the cool part of that scene in that movie. In this, it's like, well, first of all, it's animated, so 0G is much less impressive. But still, love seeing 0G, not a problem.
Yeah.
Except that unlike lacking the Stanley Kubrick precision here, they have drinks in glasses. In 0G.
With no covers on them or anything.
No covers or anything. No sippy straws. Like, that doesn't work, right? There's a reason that astronauts, like, drink out of what are essentially, like, Kool-Aid pouches, right?
They basically drink Capri Suns.
Yeah, basically. But not only do they have like drinks in champagne glasses, at various points, characters will move the glass downward and their drink doesn't just come out the top, right? Like, but again, they're definitely in 0G. Like, people's hair is floating around, people are floating around. But then there's a guy who walks down an aisle.
Multiple people walk down aisles.
Like, they're not in 0G.
It's really weird.
It's gravity is half on. And not in like, it's half a G. No. Like, some things are weighed down by gravity and some aren't. Presumably, it's because the champagne glasses aren't new types.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we get a like kind of quick conversation between Hathaway and the stewardess where he orders like a ginger ale.
Sure does.
He will go to bars a lot and then not order alcohol.
Yeah. Ginger ale every time.
And they don't.
Which is a fun little character thing. It doesn't need to be commented on.
Now, I should note they don't introduce him as Hathaway right away.
No, they do not.
In fact, it takes a while before we even get this guy's name.
Correct.
But this is Hathaway Noah.
Yeah.
Who is Bright Noah's son.
Correct.
And this takes place after Char's counterattack.
Yes. I think they say 12 years after?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Double digits, definitely. Low double digits.
Yeah.
After that.
Oh, I guess we should, like, I don't know, pop a champagne cork. This is the first UC content we're covering.
Yeah, weirdly.
You know. Yeah. Why this first? Don't know, but it's what we're doing.
Well, no, I know why this first. Because people voted for it.
Right.
Of the community post. But
you know, this is the first piece of UC content we're covering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
This is an exclusive shuttle that is headed towards some sort of political conference in Adelaide.
Yes.
So we're going to Oceania for this one. And boy, does the aesthetic just scream like South Pacific. Like,
this whole movie, a lot of the like environmental establishing shots and stuff are very like waters of the South Pacific, right? You know the aesthetic if you've seen it.
If you've watched Black Lagoon, you know this aesthetic very well.
Yeah. But even there are other things that use it too, right?
There's lots of things to do.
In the same way that like in a lot of movies, like Mexico has a yellow tinge to it, right? This looks like the waters of Southeast Asia.
Yeah. It almost has like I say a blue tint, but not like your traditional blue tint where it's like a darker blue for like kind of a more muted cooling effect, but more of like a really bright like sky blue.
Yes, everything's during the day, everything's very bright and like not shiny, but like the sun is painfully bright.
Yeah.
Right? The lighting is overexposed because if you've ever been there, that is how the sun is there like in summer. Yeah. Right? I mean, this is the tropics in general, but
So there's a little bit of talk about a terrorist named Mafty.
Yup. There sure is.
And how Mafty has released like a manifesto that he's going to kill a bunch of politicians, essentially.
Right. And people are saying that like Mafty is the new like Char Aznable, which that's rich.
Mafty is many things. Char Aznable, it is not.
No. Look, based on the quality of the people that they're fighting against, like if that was Char, war would already be over.
Yeah, Char would have
cleaned house with all these people. It would be not even close.
Yeah. For those of you...
First of all, this plane would just explode. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Lon and I mean, most of you probably don't know, Lon and I had a big discussion a while back about, like, best pilot, like, just best pilots in Mecha
who are the best Mecha
media?
Pilots across all Mecha media, like, of all time. We had a couple of criteria. But Char is, like, at the time... I think it was basically Char and then pick 4 others, but they're all below Char. Like,
pretty much.
I don't think we had anyone that we felt was like competitive with Char.
No.
Well, until we got into like video game protagonists.
Yeah.
Because it started with just like normal media where Char is uncontested. Once you start getting into video game protagonists, you do get like the protagonist of Ace Combat 6. who has technically taken down like thousands of armored cores.
You mean Armored Core 6.
I do mean Armored Core, not Ace Combat. They're all AC. Who cares?
Well, look, in a way, they're very similar games.
They are similar. But yeah, I do mean Armored Core. Right, but yeah, you get into like, well, this one man conquered an entire planet by himself and has like thousands of kills. Because it's a video game, it's a video game.
Yeah.
So that skews a little.
Yeah.
But anyway, Char's really good, is the point. Really good mech pilot.
Then we see this one guy who's flirting with this attractive blonde woman.
Yep.
Who has weird eyes.
Yep. He's not even really flirting at first.
At first. He's just kind of trying to make conversation, and
yeah.
She like grills him.
Yeah,
it's a weird conversation.
The dialogue in this movie is not great.
No.
At large points of it, which is a shame because this movie is mostly dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, the vast majority of this movie is dialogue.
Yeah, we'll get to that towards the end.
Also, I contend that this movie is like Sunrise's weird attempt at making a Gundam Bond film.
It is. It has a lot of Bond film feel, right? Because they're on this luxury plane, and then they end up staying in a luxury resort. Like,
yeah, there's lots of like.
There is essentially a Bond girl in, I guess, a Hathaway girl. No, that doesn't sound right.
No.
But
a
Noah girl. That's worse. Yeah. She's worse.
That's
no, doesn't work. Does not work.
But she is. Look. Gigi, that is the blonde woman.
Yeah.
She will be a prominent character who is completely irrelevant to the plot in
more or less
respects.
Again, yeah. I mean, because it feels like the part of the plot she's supposed to be relevant to hasn't happened yet.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But there's a lot of that in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's being set up to be relevant.
Yeah. The guy next to her is actually also another character who will feature prominently.
Yeah. And who also, more or less, isn't relevant.
No. He's like almost the Bond villain for this.
He's definitely the villain, except that he doesn't
do any
arguably okay. I get he tortures a guy. Other than that, he doesn't really do anything villainous.
No.
Other than he is working for a state that is villainous.
Yeah.
But he himself, again, other than torturing that one guy, isn't really that well, and I guess he's a bit. You could make some sexual harassment suits against him.
We'll put it that way.
But so that too, that's a little villainous.
Yeah.
But not in his role in the plot. He's not. He's only the villain because he is the air defense commander of the place they are attacking.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the villain because he's doing his job, not because like he's done anything like
he doesn't have a plan to like.
He doesn't have a plan to like wipe them out or something.
Extort the like Earth Federation for.
He's not. He doesn't have a villainous plan. He just is the opposition.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, calling him the opposition is honestly more apt.
Yeah.
He will be. Yes, he will be our opposition for this evening.
Yeah. He's the Op4 commander.
Yeah, he is the Op4
he's
commander.
The Op4 commander.
Yeah, he is just the Op4 commander.
And again, he's scum as a person. Like they do bring that across that he's pretty scummy.
Well, because as soon as he strikes out with Gigi, he like goes to the bathroom, comes out, and there's an airline stewardess there,
who he immediately starts chatting up,
and flirting with.
Right, and again, he's just lecherous.
And then he looks outside the window, and notably, just before this, we get a wide shot of the spacecraft. Yeah, and the two escorting mobile suit carriers are destroyed.
They sure are. Yeah. Okay. So this is. I don't know. Maybe this plane is on automatic or something, because just at no point does the flight crew or the pilot react to the fact that their escorts are destroyed and then a carrier thing latches onto the plane and deposits like a boarding pod.
Yeah.
Not until the boarding pod opens up and the plane is boarded does anyone react to this fact. Like the shadow that he sees fly past, that he like looks out the window and notices, is the thing that latched onto them leaving. He doesn't even notice it arrive. He notices it leave.
Yeah.
And the pilot just doesn't do anything or care.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to his own detriment, because I'm pretty sure he dies.
Yeah, considering
a hijacker ends up, like, piloting the plane. I assume they shot the pilot.
Yeah, they hijack this,
They do a hijacking in, like, Payday skins.
Literally, no. Honestly, I think the jack-o'-lantern mask is literally just a mask from fucking Payday.
Yeah, he's wearing a jack-o'-lantern on his head. It makes him look very stupid. The leader of the hijackers.
Two of the guys are wearing
a jack-o'-lantern head with a symbol on it. It's the symbol of Mafty. It's the symbol of Mafty, but it is stylistically very similar to, like, the real world, like, anarchist symbol.
Yeah.
Which I assume is intentional. And also, you know, okay, taking a stand against anarchists, I guess. Well, or for anarchists. These guys act like bad guys, but then everyone else in this organization later won't. So,
well, these guys aren't part of that organization.
Okay, I'm unclear on that. We're gonna get to this later. It seems like this is intentional on the part of Mavdi, but they're, like, not with them, but they're, like, have been baited into doing this or something.
Well, no, because Mafty, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Hathaway is Mafty.
Hathaway is Mafty, but because he talks about wanting to see all the delegates' faces when it happened, but
no. He wanted to see all their faces before he killed them all at their hotel in Davao.
But the fact that this plane was attacked is why they all end up in that hotel. That's what makes me think that this is an intentional setup.
Maybe, but I don't know.
It's the thing that makes me think that this is an intentional Mafty, like, again, false flag is the wrong word, but, like, it's guys really who aren't weird. Really in the organization but are like set up by them. Because the thing that will happen, sort of going ahead, is that because this has been attacked, there will be, like, an investigation by the investigative bureau. And because they're doing an investigation, they put all of the people who were on this plane in this one hotel. And then even one of the pilots who attacks it comments, these dumbasses, they put them all in one hotel, and then they blow the hotel up. And so it seems like that's an intentional plot, right? It seems like that's a 5D chess maneuver.
It's really weird. And maybe, see... I get where you're going on this. The problem that I have with it is that they never mention it ever again. And
I agree. And that is weird.
They don't bring it up. Like when he talks to the other Mafty members
they don't, oh, wow, a shame Pumpkinhead died. Like,
yeah, or he doesn't go, really, you had to get those guys to do it?
Right,
They killed two people. We were going to kill them anyway.
We were going to kill those people.
Like it dilutes or anything. Like,
yeah, or like their bad brand recognition for our brand, right?
Yeah, like
which maybe was intentional. Maybe they wanted to get rid of these guys.
Who knows?
But it does seem like some sort of weird false attack. But also, okay, here's the other thing though, is that if this was that, then why go through all this? That mobile suit could have just blown the plane up.
Yeah.
I mean, I granted Hathaway's on it, so they wouldn't. But, like, Hathaway could have just not been there and they could have blown the plane up, right? And which would have been a much more effective, like, plot from not from a movie perspective, but from a plotting to kill all these people perspective. They were all on the plane. Why bait them all into being all in the same hotel when they've already chosen to all be on the same plane? So that part doesn't work.
Well, but also they're all all of them are going to the same conference. This is where...
Well, so I assume the reason to not attack them at the conference is that the conference will be defended. That's why you don't do that.
Yeah,
I get that part.
I guess. Anyhow, it's irrelevant.
It's largely irrelevant. Well, no, it's relevant because I feel like the answer to our questions would be answered if this movie concluded. Right? Again, it feels like a thing that ought to come up later.
We'll get to that.
But then the movie ends.
Yeah. So the craft is hijacked by Discount Payday Gang.
Yeah.
Gigi immediately begins antagonizing the hijackers.
Sure does.
Like, there's a brief scene where, like...
There's some stuff...
Ken, who's the base commander, Kenneth, something or other.
He like gets his gun and like tries to defend the plane, but then like they're like, no, we have like
assault rifles, and there's more of us.
Yeah,
you are one dude with a pistol in the middle of a bunch of civilians,
right?
Who you are ostensibly trying to protect.
Yeah,
you don't
just don't. Again, this is why he's not like totally villainous.
No,
right? Is he just like, yeah, fair enough, puts his gun down, right?
Yeah. Well, and he does.
He's just doing his job.
Yeah.
He's doing his job. Notably,
in a blatant lack of A, professionalism, and B, proper firearm safety and usage, a bunch of the people are screaming because, you know, panicking at the hijackers. And this guy gets real mad. Pumpkinhead gets real mad.
Pumpkinhead is mad that people are yelling. He doesn't like it.
And so he discharges his assault rifle while it's still on. Like
he has it like slung back, like slung back on his shoulder, like pointing backwards.
And he discharges a burst, which is like literally inches from the head of his subordinate.
Right. It is also worth noting that they're in atmosphere at this point. So he has not just like vented the craft to space.
Yes.
With his bullets.
That's also important to know.
Because there's gunfire in general. But there's gravity. They're in atmosphere. This was during their like landing sequence.
Yeah. Yeah. So he almost just blows the brains of his own guy out.
Yeah. Now I'll point out they're still at really high altitude. All of the oxygen masks should drop down. Like... Also, I mean, I guess it's a spacecraft. Maybe they have something better than just oxygen masks. But still, that would have been a funny joke.
Also, as you mentioned when we were watching it, everyone in that compartment is now deaf.
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen multiple times in this show.
That is going to happen.
There is exactly one time that someone covers their ear before a really loud thing happens. And it's great, and I wish they did it more. Because there are going to be a lot of like people without ear pro being very close to very large weapons firing.
Things that you want, being very close to things you want your pro for.
And in fact, one of the things that this movie gets across really well, and it's fun, we're going to talk about this a lot later, is like how it is to be a civilian on foot when like vehicles are fighting each other near you. But one of the things that they don't do, everyone's eardrums should be shattered. From this, from things that happen later, nobody in this movie should be able to hear anything anymore. Like halfway through the movie, all of the dialogue should revert to just, what did you say? What did you say? Sorry, I've gone deaf from all the gunfire.
Except for the one character who covers her ears.
Who covers her ears. So that she was
anyhow.
And I think opens her mouth too. I think she properly like...
Yeah, like avoids any damage.
Now, granted, the thing that happens is a giant laser beam, so like I'm not sure overpressure was an issue, but
I mean, it did cause like the asphalt to detonate from the heat.
True.
So you could, who knows?
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, look, you do standard procedure regardless, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, while this laser's coming in at the speed of light, I'm going to calculate in my head whether or not I need to open my mouth. Like,
no, you just do that.
You just do that.
Just in case.
Yeah.
For, you know, the reasons that we've outlined before, but we'll outline again, because that was an El No Zero, which you won't get to for some time.
El No Zero,
you cover your ears to keep your eardrums from popping.
Yeah.
You open your mouth to A, avoid your teeth shattering from the overpressure, and B, you
yell to avoid biting down on your own tongue.
Yes.
Those are like the three things to do if you're like standing next to a large caliber gun when it fires.
Yes.
This is not a large caliber gun. This is just like an assault rifle.
So then the hijackers kill two people.
They do. They kill the one guy because he like he goes for one of them.
Well, he stands up and says, I'm head of the law enforcement.
Right. Like,
you're all going down for this.
Right. And they shoot him.
Yeah,
sure. And then his like wife is distraught. So they shoot her for being distraught.
Then I think they were about to shoot like Gigi or something. And then Hathaway confronts them.
Yeah.
And Hathaway has a kind of face-off with these guys, and then he gets a new type brainwave from
Gigi,
who's like they're fakers.
Which he should know that or not know that. Either they're his guys he was expecting, in which case he doesn't need a new type brainwave, or they're not his guys and he's already aware of that, which he doesn't. Why does this exist? It doesn't. Who we will find out Hathaway is means that this bit of this scene is pointless.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Unless that wait. Maybe we have interpreted the scene wrong.
Oh.
Maybe this is Gigi finding out from him that they're fake.
you have a very strong point here.
He's confronting them because he knows they're fakes.
Right.
She is new type brain reading him and finding out that they're, which is relevant to the fact that she knows that is relevant to the rest of the plot.
That is true.
So fair enough. I think this scene, it's not communicated well because it seems like like the dialogue is in her voice.
Yeah.
It seems like she is telling Hathaway they're fakes. But that makes no sense.
Then Hathaway kills them all.
Yeah, then Hathaway kills them all.
Except
with the assistance of Captain...
Yeah, Captain Ken. Yeah. Captain Ken kills like 2 of them.
He does.
Because Hathaway takes one guy
and puts him like an arm bar.
Well, the first guy he takes down, he like grabs the dude's assault rifle, pushes it out of the way, pulls the gun out of the front holster that the guy had just holstered that pistol into.
Yes.
And shoots him in the leg to throw him off balance, and then uses him as a human shield while he shoots the guy behind him.
Yes.
And then he shoots the Pumpkinhead guy who he's currently grappling with, takes his assault rifle, turns immediately and shoots like one more guy.
And then goes and like assaults the cockpit.
Yeah. And then goes and assaults the cockpit and shoots one guy and then fucking pulls a WWE like...
This is the thing where this bit looks like they're in low gravity because he does like this impossible somersault thing over him basically.
Like it's a move I've seen in the WWE and it's definitely one of the assisted moves.
Right, exactly.
For those of you who don't know WWE or pro wrestling in general, a lot of the moves they do are assisted by the person who is being...
The best example is a suplex.
Yeah.
You cannot suplex a person who doesn't want to be suplexed.
Correct.
Or at least you cannot easily in a manner that doesn't also harm yourself significantly. You can lift a person in that manner. It's just going to hurt you too.
Yeah, you're probably going to get like a hernia.
But the way that you suplex a person and don't harm yourself is that the other person
does a little hop
and helps you do it.
Correct. Well, and it's also how both of them maintain enough control over the move.
Correct.
Itself
to not get hurt. Like again, we're going to get into that. But yeah, he does this move that like...
And then lands the guy in
And again, if they were in Zero G, I would like... This would be like Zero G CQC maneuvers, right? Like, sure, that makes sense. Use the fact that you have no weight. But they're not. They're in atmosphere.
Yeah.
No.
But then after he tosses his guns away to do this to this guy.
He sure does.
And... Suddenly, turns out there was one extra guy.
This is the guy actually flying the plane.
Who's dressed like Scarecrow. Like
the other person is just like a witch. Like,
well, his mask reminds me of Scarecrow from Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that makes sense. He does.
And the guy points a handgun at him and is like, "I got you dead to rights," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he starts chuckling and is like, "Just shoot."
Don't just
chuckle.
Shoot, dumbass.
And then he gets shot by Captain Ken.
Yeah, Captain Ken shoots him. Now, see, this is the other thing that supports these guys were sent by Mafty. Is Hathaway seems to put a lot of effort into making sure there are no survivors to be taken prisoner.
That is true.
Right? Which seems, I don't know, it just seems intentional to me. Right?
I mean, yeah. Then after Hathaway kills all the hijackers and they do a very brief scene of like, you... Like the nod of like, you saved my ass. Yeah, I totally did.
Good job. All right.
We go into a literal fucking Bond opening.
We sure do. That it's
except instead of silhouettes of beautiful women, it would be silhouettes
of silhouettes of Gundams instead of like silhouettes of women. Which is probably better. But the song is sounds like a Bond theme. I really do think that the people who wrote this movie were definitely thinking about Bond movies when they made this movie.
Or definitely that genre.
Well, because the other thing is that Hathaway, I mean, the movie is called Hathaway. It's about Hathaway. And yes, Hathaway does pilot a Gundam very briefly. But it's mostly about him doing a bunch of spy stuff. This is a spy movie.
Yeah, well, and also, he literally does the Bond intro.
Yeah.
The guy's like, hey, I didn't catch your name.
I didn't catch your name.
Noah. Hathaway Noah.
Yeah, Noah Hathaway Noah. Like, it has to be intentional. Again, this is like Gundam does a spy movie.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's why it ends where it does, because they're done with the rest is just combat. You don't want to see that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I keep saying that, but it's true. We will.
We will. But yeah, so we'll get, much like this movie, we're gonna set up things where we'll get to it.
Yeah. Hathaway is at a bar now, like an airport bar.
Yep. How luxurious, an airport bar. Oh, wait, no, because we have to comment on the fact that they get everyone out of the plane via the emergency slide. Like, the plane is fine. It was, other than having a hole put in its roof by the boarding pod, it is functional. Well, they land it.
It doesn't even put a hole in the roof. They open a hatch.
Oh, you're right. It just lands on a hatch. For some reason, I thought the hatch was on the thing and they had cut a hole in the roof. But whatever. It doesn't matter.
It's like a maintenance hatch on the top of the...
That's a weird place for a maintenance hatch.
Or something.
Okay.
Or maybe... No,
I guess because it's a spaceship, it's probably the docking port that you would use if you docked on a space station.
Yeah, right. Well,
that makes sense.
It probably also functions as an emergency escape hatch for the piloting crew.
Oh, sure. Maybe.
Because that's where they come out.
Because they come in, which makes sense. Take the cockpit first. They get everyone out of the plane via the emergency slide. They don't have to. So, okay, I get why you wouldn't pull up to a terminal because that could be dangerous. You don't know like what's going on the plane. But like, they have the wheelie stair things. Yeah. It's an airport. Why use the emergency slide? That's just silly.
Well, and also, I should note that part of the reason that it gives the Bond movie vibes is because he says, Noah, Hathaway, Noah, right before they cut to the Bond intro.
Right. Correct. And again, especially this first bit, is going to be a lot of like luxury hotels and fancy cars and beautiful women. It's very Bond. But in a Bond movie, I'm sorry, but in a Bond movie, they would not exit the plane via like rubber emergency slide.
No.
Like they just wouldn't.
No. They would exit by the stairs.
They would also, he would get off the stairs and there would be like a establishing shot of him getting off the stairs. Yeah.
And then M would meet him in like a limo or something.
Exactly.
Or like they would take him to like an airport bathroom that would open up and
the person who is, I guess, supposed to be M is gonna meet him in like a botanical gardens. That kind of counts.
Yeah, that does count. Also, some other things about the disembarking scene that we noted. They did a terrible job of like clearly people haven't hijacked anything like this
in a long time.
In centuries.
They are not prepared for it because they don't like clear the plane or anything.
Because normally weird. when a CTU.
So maybe it's just because Captain Ken is on board and has already given the all clear. That's because he does say like my associates are on the way. I think it's just because he's called them up and been like, I cleared the plane, it's fine.
Yeah, okay,
like,
fair enough.
I think that's. But then why not pull up to the terminal and let people walk off the plane normally?
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Well, either way,
maybe they're worried about a bomb. Maybe he's like, look, all of the terrorists are dead, but I don't actually know that they haven't planted a bomb.
Yeah. So Hathaway's at his bar.
Yeah, at the airport bar.
At the airport
Which,
bar.
again, is very, like, knockoff Bond movie. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah, he's at a fancy bar. It's a fancy airport bar, though.
Yeah, well, and he orders a ginger ale again.
It sure does.
This is his, like, martini shaken
this will be another... Again, it's a little bit of characterization. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right? He drinks ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like... Okay. Yeah. Martini shaken, not stirred, it ain't.
Then he gets confronted by the head of the criminal police organization.
Right. And they have a very...
Which I assume is their version of, like, Interpol.
Yeah, I assume. They have a very tense conversation, which, in the moment, doesn't seem to make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you're like, why is this so weirdly tense?
Well, and also now, part of what you could be forgiven for thinking, because during Char's counterattack, Hathaway does, as a child, essentially, hop into a mobile suit and get a kill.
Sure does.
And this guy brings that up. So you could, if the reactions of Hathaway were a little different in this scene, you could be forgiven for thinking that the tension is because this guy is intentionally poking a trauma button.
Yeah. But that's not, there's a lot of tension around, like, can I get you to stay in town for a day while we question you? Oh, I have to be at this other place.
Yeah, I have to go to Sulawesi.
Right, okay, well, we'll organize something else. Like, and again, it's a very, like, nothing conversation, but is played very tense.
Yeah.
Which in the moment seems strange.
Yeah.
And when we find out who Hathaway is...
Which is not much after this.
Yeah. It makes way more sense why
Mhm.
he is very tense with
Yeah.
the cops and is trying to like dodge being interrogated.
Well, and
right?
he asks, like, am I going to be interrogated then?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, I'm not gonna, because like essentially I'm off the clock.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not doing any more interrogations today. We're gonna do it tomorrow.
Oh, and then,
yeah.
But then the other guy who's with him, who is also part of the CPO, I think, because the criminal police organization, who's like part of weird Interpol, the guy with the visitor badge.
Oh, I thought he was a reporter.
No, he's not a reporter.
Oh, I don't know.
Because he says my boss, which
does.
Which is the guy.
I don't know. Yeah, he's the. So I think what it is there are two police organizations here.
Okay.
One is like Interpol,
Mhm.
some big, or
Right.
and the other is like local,
I guess,
or like quasi-local. Like it seems like it's one of them is like Interpol and the other one is like the country's anti-terrorism unit or something.
Whoever has like jurisdiction over the spaceport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fair enough. Anyway,
that's the impression I get.
So he goes, I need you to stick around here for a little while. He's not going to interrogate you, but I do need to ask
I need to ask you a couple questions. Yeah.
And he acquiesces. He's like,
yeah, okay, sure.
Fine. Then he sees Gigi, who...
Being weird. Because all Gigi knows how to do is be weird.
Yeah, who's got a very, like, fancy blue drink that she never drinks.
Yep. She sure does have... I choose to believe it's the Star Wars blue milk.
I firmly believe that drink is still sitting on this table, or on that table to this day.
Yeah.
Because she just leaves it there. She doesn't go and retrieve it or anything.
Okay, so let's talk about Gigi for a second.
Yeah,
Gigi
we do need to talk about
a new
Gigi
type,
here.
obviously.
She's very obviously a new type.
She's also weird.
Very weird.
She just acts weird in ways that new types... It's not like all new types act like this.
No.
Right? She acts strange. She almost acts... There are a number of scenes where it seems like they're establishing like almost like a Tyler Durden thing. Like she doesn't really exist. Like she's in Hathaway's mind, right?
Yeah.
Like she'll just appear in scenes where she shouldn't be, right?
Right.
But no, that's not the case. She's real. Other characters talk to her, and her eyes are so strange. There is as much animation put into Gigi's eyes as like most of the rest of the other characters combined, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like everyone's eyes look like this. Her eyes are like extra detailed and they move in strange ways and she's weird. But also, that never comes up and is never relevant.
She motions for him to sit like across the like little end table that she's sitting next to, sit across the table from her. And he does. I don't know why, but he does.
Yeah, again, at multiple points, if I was Hathaway, especially knowing that I am the leader of a terrorist organization who needs to like keep a low profile and like not get found out and not like have superfluous random interactions, I would blow Gigi off so fast. Right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know you. Goodbye. Like,
yeah. He sits next to her and then she basically just goes, so you're Mafty, right?
Yeah, especially after this scene where, yeah, because she goes, you're Mafty, and he immediately comes to the realization, oh, you're a new type. You have a lie detector. Like,
so they have this back and forth where she's basically like, oh, you're Mafty. That's so cool. Like, tell me more about it. And he's like, we're in the middle of an airport bar.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No is not the time for that.
And we're about to be interrogated by like
right, and and there's cops around.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, woman.
Yeah. Like, why don't you just shout it to the whole airport while you're at it?
Oh my god, if she had a like from Jurassic Park, like a Mafty, we've got Mafty here. See, nobody cares. Like, that would make her a more normal and relatable character, because she's not.
She's not. She's a very odd person.
But she will be the fan service for the evening, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Hathaway is delayed at Davao because of all this.
Yes.
They have a brief questioning scene. It's a questioning
There's a brief questioning scene. It's whatever. The end result of it is, we're putting you in this hotel.
And we're all expenses paid. Like,
yeah, here's your room card. Feel free to charge whatever to it. And... Then the end result of that is that he and Gigi have rooms that are next to each other.
What happens is they're both booked to separate double bedroom suites.
Right, but they're like next to each other on the same floor.
Right.
And then she's like, no,
Yeah.
stay in my room.
But before stay in my suite. Notably, they stay in separate rooms in the suite.
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, that comes up later.
It does come up, but the point I was getting to is that it's a different hotel from where they've put everyone else.
Yeah, they put all the like high profile politicians all in one. In
this hotel, and they put Hathaway and Gigi in the other one, and I think Captain Ken is there. I don't think he's staying in the hotel. He just is into Gigi.
Yeah, he's really into Gigi.
He of course he is. Like, he's into anything in a skirt.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But it's very relevant that they are in a different hotel, but it's not really explained why they're in a different hotel.
Yeah.
I guess because these are the... Okay, I have two explanations. Either A, because they are the two people actually involved in fighting the terrorists. They're not just victims. But that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Or because they are the only two people who this is not their final destination.
Right.
Because she's going on to Japan and he's going to wherever it is he's supposed to supposedly going. He's not actually going there, but he has a claim of where he's going.
He's supposedly going to Sulawesi.
Yeah. So that's the other explanation is they're the other hotel is for people who will be staying here long term, and this is the hotel for people who won't be. And that's why they're in a different hotel. It's very relevant that they're in a different hotel.
They do like brief scene where they have some more like inane conversation.
Yeah, so they go up an elevator that we find out they're on like the 37th floor, 33rd floor.
Something like that.
I don't know. Again, it's
like near the top of the building.
Yeah, she like asks like what's at the top floor of the building? Oh, there's like a bar and a dance floor. Oh, let's go dancing, Hathaway. And this is the first time that he's like, no,
I don't think
I don't know you.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite say, I don't know you, but it's like, no?
Yeah.
The only thing we have in common is that we are both victims of the same terrorist hijacking. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, so they go into the hotel room.
They go into the hotel, and they're like looking at like her suite, and she's like, no, stay in my suite,
well,
Hathaway.
She says to the bellhop, you can drop his bags off here too.
Right. And he's like, what? She's like, I don't want to be alone
in this big of a space.
Yeah, which a classic, I suppose. And Hathaway is just like, sure.
I think he's realized that she's just gonna bug the shit out of him.
I think he's just like, it's one night, and I don't like. It will be more difficult to say no than to just acquiesce.
Yeah,
right.
There's separate rooms anyway. Whatever.
And also, I'm about to be assassinated. And you can't see me doing like finger quotes there, right? But he knows. It occurs to me that he has very good reason to not want to be in the suite he's supposed to be in. Huh. But does she know that? No. She's read his mind.
I don't think she does.
Is this all a plot by the two of them? Is this like 8-dimensional chess? It could be. There is reason to believe that it could be.
We don't have enough information. There is a scene at the very end of the movie that has some very leading dialogue.
Okay, if we ever get a second half of this storyline, it would not surprise me to find out that Gigi is in on everything and like this is all 8-dimensional. She is intentionally getting him out of the suite he's supposed to be in. This is all a plot. That would not shock me. It isn't, as far as we know.
Well, especially because 2021 is when this movie came out.
Yeah, it's been like 3 years.
Yeah,
4 years.
Pretty close. Anyhow. Yes. So they have a scene by the pool.
Yep.
She like wades in it a little bit. She does.
Yeah, these are really nice suites, by the way.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
These are like...
I get it. Everyone on that plane was supposed to be some sort of super VIP, but like the Interpol or the FBI or whatever does not put you up in like
the Burj Khalifa
penthouse at the Burj Khalifa. Yeah. Because this room is ridiculous. And apparently there's a second one, right?
Yeah.
Which is double. Because the hotels normally have one room like this, right?
Yeah.
The idea that this hotel has two and that they are not on the top floor, right? There are better rooms than this, and that's shocking. Because it has its own pool. It has like multiple rooms. They get very nice dinner service later. It's what a hotel for Interpol to put you up in. Like,
like Interpol's loaded in this,
apparently.
timeline, apparently.
Or Captain Ken pulled strings to get Gigi put in a really nice room.
Yeah, I mean that.
And both like Hathaway's room would have been shit.
I just imagine Hathaway's got the double bedroom room, right? Yeah. But it's like a quarter of the size.
Yeah, it's a normal hotel room, and she's got two beds in the bathroom. And, like it's like a Holiday Inn.
On a different floor, on a much lower floor.
Or no, it's on the same floor. It's the room that's supposed to be for the servants of people who stay in this room. Yeah. Right? It's a normal Holiday Inn room. But anyway, this hotel room's really nice. But again, which that feeds into all of this like James Bond feel, right? Of like,
oh yeah,
look at the luxurious hotel room they're staying in.
Yeah. So
come visit scenic Southeast Asia, and you can stay in rooms like this.
The only thing that is missing from this is literally just a thing that says like Davao, like blah 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 blah.
Yeah. If this was like an actual like they branded the hotel like to try to get you to go there, like that's what a Bond movie would do.
Yeah. So they have that. Then they have a brief moment because like Hathaway goes to his room to take a shower.
Sure does.
To clear his
head.
Gigi
does not jump him in the shower, which shocked me.
Yeah, that shocked me too.
Shocked me a lot, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. As soon as they showed him in the shower, I was like, oh, we're gonna get a scene where Gigi like enters his shower. No, we don't. Shockingly.
Instead, what happens is
presumably because he locked the door.
Presumably.
I'm gonna guess that he locked the door. I'm gonna guess that she tried. Based on what happens next, I am gonna guess that her first thought was to go try to get in the shower with him, and like either the bathroom door or the bedroom door were locked, or both. Yeah, she got through one but not the other. Right, we're locked, and then she does what she's gonna do next instead.
So he comes out of his bedroom into the common area of the
and she
suite.
Is changing into a bikini.
Yep, and
she has the bottoms on. Not the top. The top is like over her breast.
Like she's about to. It's one of the ones.
She's about to tie it. It's one of the ones you tie up. She's about to tie it up.
Yeah.
And then he walks out. She like yelps and drops her top.
Yeah.
Which is, I've met a woman before. That's not typically what they do if they are walked in while changing.
But you know what it is typical of?
Anime. It's very anime. It's the most anime. Yeah. Right? And then she's like, you perv or whatever. Right? And he's like, you're in the common area.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he basically gives her a version of...
Because it's weird. It's not even that it's very anime. She is very anime here, and he isn't.
Yeah, like he just blows her off.
He rejects the trope because she tries to go for a like, oh, well, now that you've seen my breasts, I guess. No, I don't care.
Well, not just
go away.
Well, it's either it either goes that direction traditionally.
Yeah.
Or he blushes and gets all bashful and is like,
right. And it's like,
I'm sorry.
Neither of those happens.
No.
He just totally blows her off.
He just calmly like grabs his jacket from a chair.
Yeah. And it's just like, no.
Basically, I'm not dealing with this right now.
Right. Like he is like, I already see you as a roommate. It's been 5 minutes.
And she gets really mad at that and runs into her room.
Super mad. And presumably calls the Captain Ken because he shows up next.
Because Hathaway knocks on her door and is like, Gigi?
Yeah, are you okay?
She's like, die.
Yeah, go away and die.
And he's like, okay. He's like, sweet. And I think that actually that was not so much because he's like felt bad about Gigi, but he was confirming that she was going to stay in her room for a long time, which gives him the
quite possibly
to leave.
Yes. Yeah, because he's gonna go meet with his contact. Yeah, I believe that. Which is also probably why he blows her off, because he's like, I don't have time to sleep with you right now. I have to go meet my spy contact.
I have to go meet my, frankly, much more attractive spy contact.
Also, oh yeah, okay. So also, totally the reason that he is able to reject Gigi out of hand repeatedly is because when we finally see his organization and his base, it is made up of more attractive women, like almost entirely.
Well, that's not true. There's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of guys too, but it is populated by a significant number of women, and all of them are more attractive than Gigi.
Yeah. 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 So he goes to meet his contact at a botanical garden. He goes through a few hops to get there.
Yeah, sure does.
Because he gets in he waits at a Jollibee.
He does wait at a Jollibee, which is the only actual brand in this movie.
Yeah,
it's just really a Jollibee.
Weird. We aren't to the point where it's weird to the point where we aren't sure if it's product placement or not.
Right, because nothing else is product placed. Is it that only Jollibee paid to be in this movie, or just that the authors like Jollibee?
Yeah, is it just that the writers
Or is it because they weren't sure we would believe that they were actually in the country they're in, so there had to be a Jollibee?
Yeah.
Because the existence of a Jollibee 1000% confirms that this is not like the Northeast United States. Right.
Correct.
Right. There's a Jollibee, you know where you are.
Yeah. So yeah, they're at a Jollibee. And we also get a bunch of scenes of the Federation being fascists, essentially.
Yeah, cracking down on people in ways that are not great. There's this whole thing with Earth residency cards.
I guess it's not full fascist, but it's very fascist coded.
Yes. It definitely is visually fascist coded, which is clearly intentional.
Because these dudes roll up in APCs
and start checking people's they start checking their Earth residency cards.
Yeah.
Ostensibly to find off-planet terrorists. I think is the idea is that all the terrorists are from space, so if you don't have an Earth residency card, you must be a terrorist.
Yeah, because the other thing is the main thing that Mafty wants is to get people to move off of the Earth into space
for environmental reasons.
Yeah,
they're environmental terrorists, which is it's gonna come up later too. Well, it's not. There's gonna be a joke. We joke about it later. It's they're doing that. It's a thing. They also, the guy, I don't know, this is a odd scene. Because it turns out loads of people don't have Earth residency cards.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're not from space, I don't think.
No, they look like Southeast Asians.
Right, I don't get why they don't have, okay, so we're to believe that you need an Earth residency card to live on Earth, but also Earth residency cards were not issued to everyone currently living on Earth? That seems a bit...
Yeah.
And also, the terrorist organization's goal is to get people to move to space. Surely deporting them from Earth is just helping the terrorists?
Yeah, and
what's the point?
Yeah, you should be trying to keep them on Earth.
Right.
Just despite the terrorists.
You should be forcing Earth residency cards on them or something.
Yeah.
I don't actually understand this scene.
There's a scene, there's also part of this scene is we get to see a GM with a weird machine gun turret in its crotch.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's very Vietnam-y.
It is. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Where they are.
Yeah, but it's just the whole the way it's shot, everything kind of gives me Full Metal Jacket vibes.
Okay, sure.
Or Apocalypse Now vibes.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. The whole crackdown thing is, I get they want to have a scene where there's a crackdown. That's the point.
Yeah.
But the thing that they're cracking down on and how it works doesn't actually make a ton of sense.
Well, especially because where this is situated in the timeline, the before and the after of this is not. This is
not
a thing.
That's the other thing. This is not a thing in UC generally. This is
it's really
something they made up for this movie.
Yeah, it's weirdly specific.
We can presume, I guess, that the events of Char's counterattack are what caused this Earth residency.
Yeah.
And by the time, what is the thing that's after this?
Unicorn, I think.
Yeah, by the time of Unicorn, this system has gone away because it's stupid. Presumably because of the events of Gundam Hathaway Part 2, where they defeat the residency card system. Because also, that's like, as long as I'm going to defeat the Earth Federation.
Yeah, it's weird.
Don't know what happens there. Does the environment thing ever come again? Because they talk about, like, the Earth's environment is unsustainable. That doesn't come up in any future UC stuff, right? I guess they fixed the problem.
It's been a while since I've watched any UC stuff.
Again, maybe the reason that we don't have a Gundam Hathaway 2 is because they just don't know how to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they can't really win.
Yeah.
Like, or if they do win, the thing that they will do to win is, like, invent environmental sustainability. Like, it's not interesting.
So Hathaway gets on a taxi straight out of like a 1960s like movie set in New York.
Yup.
Where it's like it's got all this like weird 60s era like seating, like psychedelic seating,
which is kind of appropriate for, you know, like more modern Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah, it is
mimicking.
Well, the vehicle even gives off like tuk-tuk vibes.
Yes, it gives off very strong tuk-tuk vibes. Okay.
Yeah, it's on brand. Is what I'm saying.
He talks to a taxi driver who is missing both of his teeth. Who, again, this is where we find out does not have an Earth residency card. He's trying to get enough money to earn one. I guess you buy them.
I think we actually got this in the wrong order.
Oh,
he meets the agent before all the Jollibee and all the rest of that.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, you're right, because the agent leaves him when they start cracking down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So he meets with two different agents.
He meets with two agents. They talk. It's not that interesting.
No, it's not.
This is just like it's
a standard spy scene,
right? And they don't discuss anything of particular plot consequence, other than like the operation is proceeding. All right,
and
cool.
it's in a botanical garden.
Yeah, which sure.
Yeah.
And then we get to again the much more interesting crackdown scene where they leave and whatnot.
I say that because then we get after he gets out, like gets to the taxi, he gets to his hotel room, and we have the most awkward.
Oh my god, we have such a weird. Okay, so he gets back to the hotel room, and it's not even immediate because he has dinner. So it's a while.
Yeah.
Like he gets there and orders room service and has his room service and is halfway through dinner.
Yeah.
And then Captain Ken shows up.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, buddy, how's it going? And again, this scene is like tense because they are the opposing people, but it's really just awkward. Again, it's trying to be a Bond movie. So it's trying to be Bond and the villain have to have a polite conversation while being opposed to each other.
Yeah.
But instead it's just weird and awkward because it's, oh, why are you here?
And then Gigi
pops out of the room. Yeah. Oh, I invited him over because you wouldn't go dancing.
Because you left me here.
Yeah, because you left me here.
Like, okay.
And, well, yeah, and then he visibly changes, I think, internally because he's like, oh, I thought he was here because he was on to me. I guess this is fine.
And then he's just kind of like, all right, you kids have fun.
Yeah. And they, like, Gigi comes back out and is like, hey, can you, like, do up the back of my dress?
No, it's the necklace.
Or the necklace, sorry, it's classic romantic, hey, can you put my necklace on? And Captain Ken's like, yeah, obviously. Any chance to touch a woman.
And that is the vibe he gives off.
That's the vibe he gives off. But Hathaway just is in the same room, sitting there eating dinner.
Yeah, he doesn't stop eating dinner either. He
continues to eat his salmon.
He continues to eat his, like, sauteed salmon.
Yeah, while they have this romantic, like, necklace putting on scene.
And, like, Gigi looks right at him, and he's just like, whatever.
What? So clearly what's happening is that Gigi is trying to make Hathaway jealous, and Hathaway is resisting the concept, right?
He's just not having it.
He just doesn't care. Meanwhile, Captain Ken is like, sure, whatever, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take what I can get at this point.
Oh, sorry, because while Gigi's out of the room, him and Ken have this conversation where Ken's basically like, I'm gonna tap that. Is that a problem? And Hathaway's like, I do not care.
Like, you don't understand.
You don't understand.
I care.
I'm sure she's told you that I care. I abso-fucking-lutely do not. Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And so then we have Hathaway like lying in bed,
staring at his hotel card, basically like talking about how he's going to take down the decadent system.
Yeah.
Intercut with Captain Ken and Gigi on the dance floor.
Yeah, like dancing in like the weird like
they're doing like a weird modern like they're not.
Yeah,
I hesitate to call it dancing. They are bobbing arrhythmically to the beat.
It's very similar to like scenes from like 60s TV shows.
Yeah, it is. This scene would work better if they were like slow dancing or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it would still be stupid, but
or if they were like doing the standard club bump and grind even.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she was grinding on Captain Ken. Sure, it would work. It'd be much more modern and believable.
Yeah, but it's not.
But instead, they're standing like 6 feet apart to leave room for Jesus. Like it's weird.
They're practicing social distancing.
They sure are.
In fact, everyone at this club is. Because the scenes we see, this dance floor is sparsely populated, and
right. This is it's a hotel dance floor. How many people do you expect to be there?
I don't know.
It's not a bumpin' club scene.
I think that's fair.
Like, because I have been to hotels that have things like this. And if you go to them, you will be like one of 3 people there. Straight up. It's not like a bunch of people go to the hotel club every night.
I mean, that does sound kind of nice.
I mean, if you are at a hotel and want to just, I don't know, listen to some music or whatever, you can go to their lounge and it'll be fine. Because there's gonna be nobody there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like everyone in the club doesn't go. Or everyone in the hotel doesn't go, obviously. And people from outside the hotel are not going to the hotel club, right? So they are not like hotel lounges like this are not like there's way more people in this than I would ever expect to see.
Yeah.
Right.
So he has that whole scene, and then we kind of fade. So that's gonna be all for Gundam Hathaway.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you with your regularly scheduled programming tomorrow, essentially.
Yep. Merry Christmas!
Yep. You feel that disappointment that you're feeling right now?
That's what it's like to watch the end of this movie.
Where we did all of that setup and like
nothing paid off.
Yeah, didn't pay off on any of it. That is this movie.
That's this movie. That's what you have just experienced what it's like to watch this movie in the form of this podcast.
Yeah.
Now we're going to actually finish it because we're not Gundam Hathaway.
Yeah. Right. Well, because the best scene in the movie is coming up.
That's true. The best scene in the movie is coming up. This scene is awesome.
This scene is rad.
This is one of the best, scenes in a Gundam show. Up there with, the final battle in Seed Freedom and, some of the newer stuff. Yeah, it's just really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I should pay homage to the old classics, too. It's up there with, when Char destroys the entire... At the Battle of, Yum?
Yeah. Loom.
That's it. Yeah, at the this is up there with the Battle of Loom. It's really cool.
It's really rad.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's a perspective of a mech fight.
Well, okay, so here's what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
Is some mobile suits are deploying, and they're going to assassinate all of the people who were on that plane.
Yeah.
Including Hathaway, although they are relying on Hathaway to have gotten out of his hotel suite by the time they destroy it.
There are 3 suits.
There are 3 suits. 2 of them are going to fly interference while one of them actually performs the assassination. And they do that.
Successfully.
Notably, they talk about, we have nothing to worry about. The local defense here is going to take, at least 15 minutes to respond. Right? And they're like, no, they have this new commander. They might have gotten better. And they're like, he's been there for 1 day. How much better could they have gotten? It turns out a lot because they respond really quickly.
Yeah, because they even
surprisingly quickly.
Yeah, they remark upon how quickly.
Oh wow, okay. But then there's it starts with just this assassination. He shoots his gun at the hotel. The hotel not the hotel Hathaway is staying in, the other hotel.
Yeah, that's
it explodes.
Yeah, well, and that
meanwhile the other 2 mobile suits are engaging air defense batteries.
That explosion wakes Hathaway up.
Yes.
And he basically he clambers out of his room and
he like looks at the clock.
Yeah,
because again, he knows what time this operation is happening.
Yeah,
right.
He looks at the clock. And he's like, yes,
yes, I have 5 minutes to not be in this room anymore.
And he goes,
to not be in the room next to this room, presumably.
Yeah.
Although I mean, they're gonna fire like a beam cannon at it, so
yeah,
both rooms are
best to just not
not be in this building anymore.
Yeah, best to just at least not be on this floor anymore.
Right.
And he runs over.
He runs over to Gigi and is like, Gigi, we have to go.
What?
Yeah. I'm shocked Captain Ken wasn't in the room with her. That would have made this way funnier.
Yeah.
But there's not. She's like in the nude.
Yeah.
Which Hathaway, again, doesn't care about.
He literally is like, get your shoes on. We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he just says shoes. She also puts on clothes, mercifully.
Well, she puts on like a,
she puts on a hotel bathrobe.
Yeah.
I think because she doesn't realize that she should probably put on more clothing because she doesn't know what's gonna happen. And then the explosions happen, because they get to like the hallway and there's some other guests.
Yeah.
And the explosions are happening and the guests are panicking. And they're like, no, guests first. And Hathaway's like, we are also guests.
Yeah, because Hathaway's like the only one in a suit.
Yeah, because Hathaway got dressed because he knows what's happening.
Well, that and he fell asleep in his clothes.
That's true. He did also fall asleep in his clothes.
Like he just had to throw his jacket on.
Probably because he knew that he was gonna get up in the middle of the night to not die. He was planning ahead.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely like,
I am going to bed with my shoes on because I know that I have 5 minutes to get out of this building.
And so they go to the elevator.
Yeah,
and they get nervous because the building shakes a little bit.
Yeah, the building shakes a little bit. They're nervous about like getting in the elevator. And then Gigi is like, no, it's fine, let's get in the elevator.
And yeah, they all get in the elevator.
And then while they're at while the elevator says like 4th floor or something, like it ticks downward, that's when the guy turns his gun on their building and like comments like, gee, Hathaway, I hope you're out of the room. Yeah. And then fires. And that like cuts power, but then like auxiliary power kicks in, and their elevator.
The elevator gets down. Like
it doesn't get to the 1st floor. It gets to the next floor and opens, and
No, it goes down to the 1st floor.
No, they open on the 3rd.
Well, I saw the numbers count down to the 1st floor. They get out of the building.
They get out of the building. It's really not necessary. They get into the building. There's also this weird bit where he like lands in some trees and then takes off again.
He lands in some palm trees to like try and I think break contact, actually.
I guess because he does it between the 2 building shots.
Yeah.
And I don't quite grasp why he does that.
No, I don't either, other than it looked really cool.
It looked really cool. I think it was just a thing they wanted to animate. Like
legitimately.
It is an odd thing for him to do.
So yeah, then he takes off again.
Yeah.
Then he goes airborne and he starts fighting. He flies with the city behind him.
Yeah.
And with him between the Federation mobile suits.
So he is intercepted at this point by Federation mobile suits. That's the thing that happens.
Yeah, he gets intercepted by Federation mobile suits. He flies between them and the city thinking
they won't shoot
because
in a way that their giant cannons will hit the city, and then they fucking do.
They fire missiles at him.
They sure do.
And he's like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. He is shocked that they are willing to just allow ordnance to hit the city.
Yep.
Which
yeah. And now we have our fight. And this
fight is awesome.
Yeah.
This fight is so cool.
So notably, Gigi's starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because shit is getting real.
Yeah. And the reason shit is getting real is because ordnance is hitting the city and mobile suits are like flying at low altitude and like breaking things.
And landing in the streets to like do a brief like...
Yeah.
Like take a couple shots at each other, try to like...
They are like using buildings as cover.
Yeah.
Like it is very like... Yeah, this is what it's like to be a civilian when mobile suits are fighting each other in your city.
Well, because like, one of the early parts of the fight, they're running.
Yeah.
And they, like a couple of the mobile suits that are fighting, because there's like 6 or 7 mobile suits all fighting simultaneously.
So importantly, Hathaway here is supposed to get to his contact. He's gonna like get him out of the city.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't.
No, he takes
clear
Gigi
on-
and runs.
Yeah, well, because he's gonna leave Gigi behind.
Originally, yeah. He's like, should I just leave her behind?
And then she's super scared, and so he doesn't want to. But then I'm unclear on why he can't just take Gigi back to his secret base. I guess it's just she's not in the organization. Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he runs off, and his contact is like, God damn it, and has to chase after them.
Well, and so yeah, as they're being chased after, two things happen here.
Yeah.
First, a couple mobile suits do like hard landings, which shakes the ground because these mobile suits weigh like a shitload.
They make it look good, but the thing that actually happens to the ground is devastating.
Yeah, right? Which causes a bunch of people to stumble.
Yeah.
And it notably causes what's-her-face, the contact, to look back, and she sees a beam coming down.
Yeah.
Covers her ears.
Turns around, covers her ears, and like opens her mouth.
And
as everyone else.
We can presume she's yelling. Yeah. If she is, it's drowned out.
It's drowned out by the sounds of combat.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone gets bowled over by this blast wave.
Because normally the like beam shot or whatever, it what happened is the mobile suit was standing there, and then it fires the beam shot at it, and the mobile suit dodges. Right, it just gets out of there because it doesn't want to get hit by a beam shot.
Yeah,
and then the beam shot hits the ground, right, next to all these civilians, which is bad for them.
And they get up, they keep running, they run to another like kind of tall building, and they stay under like there's like pillars.
Yeah,
I think it might be another hotel,
maybe.
But they're kind of standing under these pillars,
and then a mobile suit like sits on it.
Well, the contact is across the way, and this is the second time Hathaway is like, should I just ditch Gigi here?
Yes.
I should just go to my contact and bounce.
Right. I am endangering the operation by trying to save this chick.
Yeah. And then that's when he looks up because he hears a cracking noise. He looks up, and then a whole bunch of rubble starts falling on them.
The pillar that they are hiding behind, like, spider web shatters.
Yeah. And so they start running, and that's when we get this.
We get the reverse shot of a mobile suit has sat on the building, like it's been knocked over or whatever, and just like sat on it.
Yeah. Well, no, it didn't start sitting on it. It was standing on top of it, and then the building collapsed under its weight.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then it became sitting.
Yeah, it ends up in this like casual sitting position on top of a building. It's pretty rad.
As they're running, the contact shouts, because like he's like, "Where do we go?" And the contact shouts, "There's a park nearby."
Yes.
And
to which we joke. Cossack was like, why would that help? And I was like, well, they're environmental terrorists. They won't fire on plants.
And yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
As good a justification as anything in this.
Yeah, sure.
They go there, though, and there's a fight in progress in the park.
Sure is.
Because as soon as they get there, one of the mechs...
I guess the answer is he didn't help.
Yeah, one of the mechs gets, like, a grazing hit from a beam round.
Yeah.
Which causes molten metal to fly everywhere.
Yeah, because... Again, this scene is so cool, right? Because these shots are hitting, and like armor is like sloughing off.
Yeah.
Which again, when you see that, and Gundam and mobile suits do it to each other, it looks cool. And you don't think about the fact that molten metal goes somewhere and lights things on fire.
The mecha gets engine crit.
Yeah.
He takes a
the
beam
terrorist
sword
guy is defeated.
Yeah, he takes a beam sword through the engine in this park.
Right.
And this entire time, by the way, Gigi is just screaming.
Yeah.
And like
she's
shaking.
Super freaking out. Also, we are also getting like aerial shots of the combat as well. Which are, we need to talk about a thing that this movie does throughout that's really cool. Is we every so often get these like POV shots from characters.
Yeah.
That are very cool.
Yeah.
Like they're used extremely well. Mm-hmm. They're always really short.
Yeah.
So that they... Instead of being like kind of that awkward POV shot thing that doesn't really work, they just add tension.
Yeah.
Right? They add tension because you really feel the motion when it's from the character's point of view. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting those and stuff throughout the battle. The battle ends. Gigi is facing away from the mobile suit. Hathaway is facing towards it. And I guess because notably, there's like sparks flying. It is super bright. you know, because like whatever reactor they used, Minovsky generators or whatever.
Yeah.
I think only Gundams use those. I think mobile suits use something else. I don't remember.
No, I think modern mobile suits in this setting all use Minovsky particles.
Okay, sure.
Because that was the big development that led to the Zaku, and then the Zaku 2 was that they could use.
I thought later in this actually they mention like
maybe
that's a Gundam. It has a Minovsky.
It's been
engine.
so long since I've watched UC stuff that I could be completely off base with that. I do know that the Gunpla in Gundam Build. The Gundam Build series is Plavsky particles.
Yeah.
So I know that at least,
which is fun. But yeah, anyway, so it's disabled. There's the giant like fire basically. Oh, Gigi's purse gets incinerated.
She goes to try to
grab it, and Hathaway's like it's like covered in molten metal. No.
He basically just pulls her away with a look of like, "Are you serious right now?"
No. Yeah, he's kind of holding her, and I guess. Because he, like, stares at it, and we're like, well, he's gone blind. He's, like, staring at a magnesium fire, right? Yeah. But I guess the reason he stares at it is because as far as he knows, his friend has just died.
Yeah.
Right? He is, for all intents and purposes, watching his friend die.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it.
Yeah, I get it more in that context. Yeah. Right, yes. Or at least he has watched one of his friends be defeated and was possibly killed. I mean, it's Gundam, so normally when you take a hit like that, you just die.
Right. He will find out in a few minutes that no, he's not dead. The guy will get out and be captured. Yeah. That's the next thing that happens is like police show up and stuff.
Yeah, the cops roll up.
Yeah, the cops roll up.
They roll up in horses. They ride cavalry into the scene.
Captain Ken rides a horse. It's great.
He has a whole bunch of them. He has like an entire like cavalry platoon with him.
He's here. Gigi immediately runs to him because Hathaway is not that comforting.
And Hathaway's kind of like, all right. Yeah.
And that will, for all intents and purposes, remove her from this movie. It won't actually. There will be more scenes with her, but it's
like,
yeah,
she's effectively removed.
Well, there will be a little bit more. Yeah. It's dumb. Anyway, but yeah, Kevin, it saved you. Good. I'm glad you're here. There's not much else to this scene. They talk about I guess the thing is they take the prisoner.
Yeah.
Right, which he's like, haha, we have a prisoner. We're going to torture you.
Yeah.
Which I guess again that's definitely them trying to characterize him as evil.
Yeah.
Right. Is him like gleefully going, haha, we're gonna question you real slow.
And he says it in like the classic American version of the "we have ways of making you talk."
Yeah. But then the other thing is that Lane shows up in the Penelope.
Yeah. So notably, Lane was briefly introduced earlier.
Yeah.
He gets introduced now.
This is an intro. Yeah. Is it the Penelope that actually defeated the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Captain Ken is like, this is Lane. This is the Penelope. It's awesome.
Lane isn't.
Lane's a test pilot. He's not that good.
Because he basically is like, yeah, look at this. Isn't it a magnificent machine?
Yeah.
It's a pity we have Lane piloting.
It's a pity Lane's piloting it, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you don't get any better, I'll give the Penelope to Hathaway over here.
And honestly, I think Hathaway should have.
Hathaway just has this look of like, do not bring me into this.
Yeah,
like,
he literally gives him the like, the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah. And then they get taken into like, I don't think it's like protective custody, but they spend the night at the like military base.
Yeah.
Right. In the morning, Captain Ken has a conversation with Hathaway. Basically like, your dad was awesome. Also, you got a kill. I guess that makes you pretty cool.
And Hathaway's like, yeah, I did. I wish people would stop bringing it up.
Yeah. To which I'm like, doesn't the suit do most of the work? Like, designate target, authorize weapons release, pull trigger.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to watch the scene where he gets the kill.
Yeah, I don't actually remember how he kills a guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more difficult. Maybe it was like with a beam sword. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really don't remember.
Puts a shield through a guy's cockpit.
Yeah, I have no idea. Or maybe he just like fired a missile. I really don't know.
Who knows? Well, lots of people know.
Yeah.
People who watch Char's Counterattack.
People who paid attention during Char's Counterattack recently will know. Tell us in the comments. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to leave.
Yeah.
So Hathaway is like, yeah, I still have a schedule to keep. I'm going to go. And Ken is like, sure.
And Gigi's like, how do I look in the
Yeah, Gigi shows up in like a bare midriff. She's got like sweatpants and like a sweatshirt and a bare midriff, and then like not a sweatshirt, but like a it's not a t-shirt either. It's just kind of
it's a hooded long sleeve.
Yeah, but then she's got this big like jacket over it.
It's something you would see a breakdancer from the 90s wearing.
Yes, she looks like a 90s breakdancer. Yeah, she's like, how do I look? And Hathaway is like,
not bad for what you
what you could find at like the military base.
Yeah,
like
the Connex.
Yeah, exactly. To it, if I was him, I would have responded with, "Did they not sell shirts in your size?" Because
at the
bare, it's not a shirt that's meant to have a bare midriff.
It's not.
It's just too small.
Yeah.
And she's not like large.
No.
Surely they have bigger shirts.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. And that's like the last time they will ever talk to each other.
In this movie, absolutely.
That's it. He leaves.
Yeah. And he goes, I must go now. My people need me.
Literally, his people do need him. He has a major operation scheduled for tonight?
Unclear.
I think it's tonight.
They certainly, he gets to Sulawesi.
Yeah.
And he gets picked up by some kid in a catamaran.
Oh, yeah. There's also some stuff about like, does he actually go to Sulawesi? I don't think he does.
He goes to some...
Because they're gonna drop him off at the ferry pier to go to Sulawesi, and then he's like, yeah, drop me off near there, and then just kind of like runs out into the...
Yeah, right. Because then that's where he gets picked up by the catamaran.
That's where he gets picked up by a catamaran instead, right?
The guy goes, hey, I was hired by your people to come get you.
Right. They don't use spy pass phrases, which is a shame.
No.
I'm sad that he isn't like, the sunflower blossoms in spring, and Hathaway is like, no, the blue jay will consume it, or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And...
The narwhal bacons at midnight. I don't know. For ancient internet memes.
Swordfish.
Yeah.
So they get on the catamaran, and it's like an old style catamaran.
Yeah. Which,
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Again, adds to the aesthetic.
Oh, it does. It absolutely adds. Where they meet a speedboat, and honestly, this is a very Bond scene where he gets on the catamaran.
Yeah.
With like a MI6 agent.
Right. This would be Felix Leiter if it was a Bond movie. Right.
Like Felix Leiter or some other MI6 agent would pick him up in a catamaran.
This would be the agent who is going to die 3 scenes from now.
Well, and then takes him to like a kind of like a small yacht, basically.
Yes.
Where this is where M's office would be.
Yeah, this is where M's office would be, right? And then the yacht takes him to a seaplane that actually gets him to his destination. They switch vehicles like 3 times.
Which notably, the boat could have gotten him to the same destination.
Right. Again, I presume it's to make sure that nobody knows where the island is. Like they are minimizing.
They failed miserably at that.
I mean, they did, but that the point is clearly that they are trying to obscure how many people know. I mean, that's a proper thing to do.
Oh yeah, no. Switching vehicles has a lot of actual uses for something like this.
If people are tracking the vehicle, it'll help
throw them off.
Again, the pilots of the various boats don't actually know where the other boats go.
Right. Nobody knows where the jets go.
Exactly. So it works.
And
if you really want to throw people off who are following you, the trick is to meet up with a boat and then not switch.
Yeah. And then he goes to Inner Heaven. I'm calling it Inner Heaven because it's inside of the island instead of in an oil rig off of the island.
God, we get these establishing shots of this island. It's like gorgeous South Pacific island.
That seems largely uninhabited.
Yup.
And then there's this...
Oh, there's also... Okay, wait. Sorry. There's another plot thread that we've skipped over because it is never resolved. Because at one point while they're in the hotel, Gigi told him that she intends to live in Japan in this specific place. And he like pulls out a map and finds where that is, and it's significant. He's like, why would she say that? It's so like...
Well, he also mentions that like his grandparents on his like mom's side are from
Japan.
Yeah.
But like he looks it up on a map and like is like, oh, how curious that it would be that place.
Yeah.
And then Captain Ken later, in the scene
we're
in
about to
Ken's
end it.
office.
Yeah.
That he's like, oh, isn't it curious that she's going to this one place? And that never resolved. Never comes up again. The fact that she's going to this place that we have no context for in Japan is significant to these people in a way that we do not understand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So so he gets to Inner Heaven.
Yeah, he does.
Where they're like, "Hey, what's up? Are you getting you ready for the aerial pickup?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yup, let's get everything ready to go."
See, he's got his crew. He's got his, which again, okay, speaking of plot threads that are not resolved, his crew have like characters and personalities that are like touched on for a second and then never matter again. They're
like designed like they're meant to be important characters,
right?
That we are going to get to know.
There's all kinds of shots here that are going to happen. There's a bit where he talks to the one pilot guy and he's like, "Sorry, we can't allow you to go on this mission." And it's like, and the pilot guy is like, "Yeah, that makes sense because of my backstory." And like, that's it. We don't know why.
Yeah, well, there's that. That was like the end of this chain of
sequences. Yeah, that's it. Because there's another bit later where like he will talk to some people about like a thing and then gaze up at a character who's like overlooking things from a control room. And that's it. That character never comes up again. Like,
and he'll do a bit of banter with these other characters.
Yeah,
banter that is structured and dialogue that is structured in a way that we should already know who these characters are.
Well, or I don't think it's. No, it's not that. It's exposition. Well, they are expositing who these characters are.
Fair.
They're giving us little feeders about their backstories.
Right.
That will be revealed. Presumably, in the next hour, we will find out why pilot guy has trauma that prevents him from going on this mission. Oh wait, no, we won't. There's only half an hour left in the movie. Like,
notably, honestly, because you expect all these people like because they give you shots of these people like this person's going to be important later.
Right. This guy matters, and this guy matters. This is the fixer, and this is the
And look at the unique design on this person.
Right.
That definitely means they're going to be important later.
Nope.
And none of those people.
Same thing with they're gonna do some like orbital maneuvers, and the pilot has like a panic thing, and this other character comforts her. Never matters again. They don't even come back.
It's like what?
This is half a movie. It is half a movie.
Yeah. It's really weird.
It's
like they gave us
strange.
A spy movie that then turned into half of a mecha movie.
Right. And it almost feels like, oh, we had to get all of this in at the end because we were legally obligated to.
Well, and it kind of feels like there should have been an extra 45 minutes to this movie.
Right. It feels like either the movie should have been 45, because it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If it had been 2 hours and 15 instead, that would have been fine. It feels like there should be another 45 minutes to this movie, or there should be a sequel, or there had been... If we already knew who these were, if these were like the crew that we had all known already,
like
then
that was like an OVA that set all this up, or something.
If it was a prequel to something, so we already know who the characters are, but this is them before all those things happened. But this would make sense.
None of that.
There's none of that at all.
And the reason we're getting to all this now instead of like after the final fight is the final fight is largely
it's nothing.
The only cool part about it, so there's a
couple of cool shots that are going to happen, but. Yeah.
Well, because notably, so there's a quick scene with the interrogation of the...
Yeah, he gets tortured.
Yeah. He gets tortured badly. And I say that not like, oh, he like got...
No, like they torture him. Okay, he comes in the interrogation room. They have a bit of conversation. And notably, he admits that Hathaway is Mafdi.
Yeah.
To which Captain Ken is clearly like...
Yeah, I know.
Well, I know, but it's also like there's definitely a little bit of God. He was right in front of me, and I kill him.
There's also that, but there's also he's like, okay, but Hathaway himself can't be behind this.
Right, like, Hathaway himself can't. Him. Yeah, there has to be someone backing him. Who's your backer?
Where's the bomb? Where's Rachel?
Right, yeah. The guy is like, I don't know. We have OPSEC.
Like, we have OPSEC. I don't know.
And then, the guy's like, all right, well,
I guess we'll have to get it out of you the hard way.
And then he grabs the guy's head and slams him into the table. To which I immediately quote the Joker from The Dark Knight. Don't start with the head. It makes the victim go all fuzzy. They can't feel anything after that.
Yeah. And I was like, also, he has a concussion and is just not going to be able to give you very cogent information now.
Anyway, he beats the guy.
Yeah, he beats the guy with a chair.
Yeah.
And then sticks him in the Penelope's cockpit with Lane.
Well, we don't get that yet, but yes.
But
that's what's gonna happen.
That's what happens to him next.
Because there is some other stuff that happens first. Because there's these weird conversations with Gigi.
Yeah.
Ken keeps trying to. Gigi's like, okay, well, it's time for me to like leave.
Go. Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, no.
No, like stay. You're our like goddess of luck.
Yeah, you're
There's
a god.
This whole thing about the name of the team. We totally skipped over that.
Oh yeah,
it's stupid. I don't care. They name it like Cersei team.
Yeah. They name it Cersei.
Which also okay.
Like
sorry, actually, we should talk about that because Cersei in the Odyssey seems like a bad guy and actually isn't, and helps out Odysseus.
Yeah.
She just kind of gets mad first.
Yeah.
And that's relevant because, again, the fact that they are associating Gigi with Cersei seems to me like a setup for the idea that Gigi is some sort of plant who's working for Hathaway the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? Right? She's gonna be helping out the bad guys up until she betrays them. Doesn't happen because she's largely irrelevant. But yeah, they have that conversation. It's strange.
It's very
Again, they have another conversation where she's like, okay, I should go. And he's like, no, you're our good luck charm. You have to stay.
And then he talks about the like.
There's also this.
He asks her why she was on the VIP flight.
Yes. And there was this whole thing while Hathaway was still there where he was like extremely forward with her.
Yeah, he literally straight up just asks her to sleep.
Yeah, he's like, hey, will you sleep with me? And she doesn't like say no or yes. She just kind of doesn't say anything. And then Hathaway is like, man, you were way too weird. Like, he actually like says like, no, try harder. Like, or less hard. I don't know.
Just
whichever one.
Let me get out of this situation.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of dealing with you people. You're very exhausted.
That was like when he was about to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's only relevant because it's at the same table.
Mm-hmm.
Gigi is always sitting at this one table in the mess when Ken comes and talks to her.
Yeah.
And they have these very weird conversations.
Yeah. Stuff that is like clearly setting up other plot threads.
It's setting up. Yes. Again, these scenes are super important to somebody's plot. But we don't get there.
Yeah. Because they mentioned this one cow multiple times.
Yeah.
How he's apparently like a really important dude.
Sure do.
Where is he? Well, I don't know. We never see him.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing.
And yeah, so then we go back to Inner Heaven,
right?
Where an alarm goes off.
An alarm goes off because there's a submarine that has detected the boat.
Yeah, there's a submarine that detected the boat.
So they need to go like sink it.
Yeah, well, because they think that they've been made essentially.
Right. And then that doesn't happen. Like they send the intercept team out, and that's the last that's mentioned.
Yeah, they send the intercept team out, and I guess that sets up why the intercept team wasn't able to deal with the stuff that
I guess
Hathaway has to fight later.
Is that what?
It's the only thing I can think of.
I didn't even think that was particularly close to. I don't think that would have helped. They couldn't fight Penelope anyway. I don't know.
It wasn't just Penelope. There were other suits there.
But I don't know. It's just weird.
Well,
right?
Well, they also could have held off Penelope while he got his like.
Oh, I guess sure.
Suit fully situated or something.
I guess.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, calibrate his controls. His keybinds are wrong. They're like, we're counting on you, and the scene ends. We don't get a scene of them sinking the submarine.
No.
We get a scene back with Captain Ken looking at a pixelated image of the yacht.
It is like it was taken with like the very first digital camera.
Well, it's actually, I think they're intentionally making fun of this because they have this big picture.
Yeah.
And they zoom in on the yacht 5 times and it's about 12 pixels.
Yeah.
And you expect him to go enhance, but he doesn't. It's just 12 pixels.
It is like, that boat is suspicious.
Like, I think they're making fun of the zoom enhance thing. I think intentionally.
I hope they are.
Yeah, because it's actually a pretty good joke. But anyway, that happens. And then they launch a rocket ship into space.
Yeah.
Like, unrelated.
Once they detect the launch, that's when they deploy Penelope and the
correct. They're
suits.
like, well, and both of them detect each other, right? Because they detect the launch and are like, oh, send Lane to go figure out what that is.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the ship that's launching also is like, we have a contact on scope. Don't know what it is. It might be relevant.
Moving pretty quick.
It's moving pretty fast.
Notably, this is when we get the first shot of Lane, and then we cut down lower, and we see.
Yeah,
the
prisoner guy
is hogtied with like
he's hogtied
in the cockpit, not gagged either, which is gonna come up later in a very funny way.
Funny. This is an interesting bit.
Yeah,
because and it basically they talk about like Captain Ken had me like put you in the cockpit so that if they won't shoot at me because one of their comrades is on board. Which is...
There's several things wrong with this.
But yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a war crime. Secondly, so I guess, again, Captain Ken is a bad guy. Like, sure. But also, Lane is like, but I don't feel that way. I think that's stupid.
And he's right. Maybe for the wrong reasons, though.
Yeah.
Because he's saying this because he's like,
it's dishonorable. But the actual reason is, no, they will totally shoot at you anyway.
Well, like, even if they knew he was aboard, which they don't know he's aboard.
Also, they don't know he's aboard. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, if they just hit you with like a sniper, like a mech-sized sniper rifle, or like hit you with a missile barrage.
Right, how would they know? Also, the cockpits of these mobile suits are remarkably survivable.
Yeah.
He's in the cockpit. It's not like he's strapped to the outside.
No, he's not even in a chair. He's not even in a jump seat. He's just sitting loose on the cockpit.
Which they have these like ball cockpits where you sit in a chair in the middle and have like a 360-degree view around you, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But he's like sitting on the screen, right? Because it's a 360 like sphere screen, and he's just in the bottom of it.
Yeah, and presumably the chair's like gyro mounted, so it orients.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just he's just in there. Which is, dumb.
But it's just, that creates a massive blind spot for the pilot.
It sure does.
Because these are not big cockpits either.
Right.
Like, he is covering like a full quarter of the display just by sitting there.
Stupid. Utter stupidity.
But it's going to lead to a really cool scene later.
Oh, it is.
And a really funny scene a little earlier.
Oh, and it's important for characterizing Lane.
Yeah.
Which again would be relevant if we got the rest of this movie because this is used to establish Lane's character.
Yeah, because we get 2 scenes with Lane. This is the second scene.
Yeah. and like what he does later is again establishing his character. Presumably, again, where this is leading is that eventually Kenneth will be in the Penelope and fight Hathaway, and like Lane will betray him or something because Lane is actually not a bad guy,
or either that, or at the end,
or will refuse to fight, or something,
or because like he was deposed, but
like,
he watches on the sidelines as he's like, ugh, terrible maneuver, or like bad choice, or says something like scoffs or something.
Yeah, or Lane will be sent to deal with all of the secondary people and then will refuse to do so. Yeah. Right. Or it's setting up Lane being in contention with Captain Kenneth. Nope. We don't get that far.
Don't even get close to that far.
No, we don't.
They fight a little bit.
Yep.
And while they're fighting, so first,
whoa, you skipped over the orbital maneuver thing.
Yeah. So they launch into space. They get their orbital maneuvering platform. It's basically just a suit carrier turned.
Yeah, it's a suit carrier turned sideways.
And
they launch their Zaku.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird tense scene where the pilot of the Zaku is trying to grab this other orbital object.
Is grabbing what looks like it definitely is like some sort of pod.
Right, it's a pod.
It's a carrier pod.
And it like she like accidentally taps it and it like moves away from her.
She is like panicking.
She's panicking and it's very tense. And okay, as a person who like took orbital mechanics and like is, an aerospace engineer. This is an extremely tense maneuver in real life because docking in orbit is difficult. Especially if the object you're docking with is not like quite at the same speed as you, because orbital speed's very fast and you can move each other away from each other very quickly. Like docking a space shuttle to the ISS is very hard, right? Yeah. The reason it's very hard is because you do not have extra fuel. Right? You have exactly enough fuel to do what you need to do, because fuel in space is like paramount. It's extremely heavy, and weight is everything when you're trying to get off the surface of the planet, right? So these maneuvers, if you think about like how the Apollo spacecraft had to like pop out and turn around and like reattach to the lunar lander, right? That was an incredibly tense maneuver, like one of the hardest things they did on those missions, right? For a reason, and that's what this is mimicking. The problem is that mobile suits can just zip around in space as much as they want. They don't have fuel issues.
And also, even if they did have fuel issues, she's fully fueled.
Yeah, it like the fact that it gets away from her a little is not the problem. She can just chase off after it. Yeah. Right? Mobile suits are capable of orbital maneuvers. Yeah. Right? Lots of them. Like it's not like a 21st century spacecraft where you have 1 minute of total burn time on your engines and you need it in order to go home. Right.
Honestly, if they really wanted to make this tense and also accurate, how they should have had it is you have the pilot guy, right? Yeah. And he's getting things into position, but there's like a very tight timing window where they have to like put their docking clamp in.
Sure.
And she's the one in charge of the docking clamp.
Yeah, you could have done that. I would have just had them not use a mobile suit. Yeah. Because this mobile suit doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying is you don't use the mobile suit at all.
Well, so what I would have done, I would have had them like, because we're rebels who don't have access to like stuff, we're using this like old rocket engine that doesn't have any fuel, and now this is tense. Right? That would work. But it doesn't. They have a Zaku. It's a perfectly good Zaku. Perfectly good space Zaku. Like... Yeah. There is no reason that this should be a problem.
And they succeed.
Also, she succeeds. She grabs it.
Hathaway gets into the pod, then gets into his mobile suit, which is the Gundam Valiant.
Right. Correct. Yeah, that's what's actually in the pod, by the way, is his Gundam. Hey, look, there's a Gundam in the Gundam series.
Shocker.
I guess Penelope's also a Gundam?
Technically.
I'm not sure about that.
Because Lane does keep calling the Valiant a rip-off Gundam.
Yes, he does. So I presumably Penelope.
Well, and it's made by Federation forces, and all of their experimental shit is Gundams.
Right, makes sense. Yeah. It doesn't have the Gundam paint scheme. Valiant does.
It doesn't.
Which I don't like the paint scheme on Gundams. Because I like the way Zaku's look. I like the way most mobile suits look. And then suddenly they lose all aesthetic sense on paint job as soon as they make a Gundam. It's dumb. I have never liked the like white and blue, like white with blue and red accent look.
Yeah, with like the yellow antenna.
I get it. It's the classic, like, this is how a Gundam looks. I don't care. I think it looks bad. Especially next to other better looking mobile suits.
Yeah. Also my
hot take on Gundam.
Also the Gundams in this particular movie
don't look good.
No, they don't.
That's just also
they are too triangular. They have too much triangle.
They're bulky. They're like,
and notably blocky. they're bulky and blocky and not in a cool way.
Right. They're not like, this is like an armored
they're
Gundam.
Not like they're just they're not like the weird like nuke launching Gundam from Stardust Memory that looks really rad. The GPO-3.
No, it's like, because like Penelope looks like a rectangle.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
Like, it looks like some sort of weird rhomboid. Penelope was clearly designed with the folded flight version first, and then they figured out how all that would unfold later.
Basically.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
And Valiant
is too triangle-y. Like its chest pieces are like these weird ramping triangles that jut out. But which in and of itself wouldn't necessarily be bad. Yeah. Except that then you also have these massive shoulder pauldrons that are like pyramid head pyramids.
Right. Which, like, I love a good shoulder pauldron, but no.
It's too much triangle, man.
It is. It's too much triangle. And it just doesn't come together in a way that's interesting.
Yeah, well, because what would have made the chest piece work is if the rest of the chest piece made a pyramid sticking out from the chest piece.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But it's not. It's like this weird, like, kind of half pyramid thing, but not really. It's like 2 half pyramids, but not like it's it just when you look at it, it's really weird to look at.
Yeah, and they have Mecha Uncanny Valley, which is weird.
Well, and it's not helped by the fact that because of the way they're designed, they don't look very dynamic when they're moving.
No.
If you look at this fight versus the previous fight that we just had between were essentially grunt suits and then with a run-in from Penelope at the end.
Correct.
That one is so much better.
Right, because that's the thing that makes it so, like, shameful is that the mobile suits in this look great. Mm-hmm. Right? Zaku's look great. They clearly were capable of animating mech combat. And then they just totally flub it on the 2 Gundams. It's weird.
Yeah, they're like maybe two of my least favorite Gundams, if not my least favorite Gundams.
Yeah, I don't think they like it. Well, no, because the Gundam from Iron-Blooded Orphans is my least favorite. But
I really like Barbatos.
Oh, I don't. I mostly don't like Barbatos' weapon. I think it looks stupid.
Oh, I really like Barbatos' weapon.
I think it looks fucking stupid.
I mean, I'm a kinetic head though, so like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks. I just don't think it look. My problem with Barbatos' weapon, I don't think it looks like a weapon.
Oh, are you talking about the weird mace thing?
Yeah,
he doesn't use that all the time though.
No, he doesn't. But also, I just don't like Barbatos.
Look at what this movie has done to us.
Right. Yeah, well, whatever. This is what we do: is we start talking about better mecha shows when we're tired of these ones.
So anyway, the fight commences.
Well, sort of, because the pod starts falling into atmosphere. The whole thing is that he's just trying to retrieve his Gundam. Yeah, they just want to get the Gundam to inner
This is their like clever way to smuggle the Gundam to Earth.
Yeah, this is a Gundam smuggling operation.
Yeah,
and it's being intercepted by the Penelope, which they again get all that thing is moving closer, and Penelope starts shooting at the pod.
We get this weird shot where like the front of the pod disintegrates.
Yeah, and then
freeze frames
and reverses,
and it's like a new type hallucination that happens.
It is a new type hallucination. Is Hathaway a new type?
I don't know, but it kind of seems like he is.
I am unclear for this entire movie on whether Hathaway is a new type or Gigi's new type powers have just infected his brain.
I wonder if the wiki knows.
Does the wiki tell us? I clearly believe that he's just a new type. But also, because even in this scene where Gigi's not here, the thing that happens is that he, like, sees Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then after that, we will cut.
He is a new type.
He is, okay. Unclear based on this. He never uses any, like, powers. But Gigi will, like the thing that happens after this is we will cut to a scene with Gigi. So it just, I don't know, it's strange, it's weird. I don't like this movie. I liked parts of it. Parts of it were really cool. Speaking of which, one of the best part of this fight is about to happen. Because his pod disintegrates, he gets out of it before Penelope destroys it. And then they have, like, a beam cannon fight. And the reason that this brief beam cannon fight is cool is that we don't see the mechs have a beam cannon fight. What we see is a shot of the cloud cover as different colored beams lance through the clouds.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks rad.
It's super cool. And then we're done with that. That's the end of that.
Again, this fight has really good shots in it.
Yes. And so then after that, then they start talking to each other because, of course, people...
Well, no, not quite yet. Because what we get is there's a lot of maneuvering and shooting still.
Yes.
Hathaway takes out a couple grunt suits. But notably, once combat is, like, fully engaged and the dogfight is on...
Yes.
Lane is getting
advice from the other guy about how to not die. It's really funny.
It's unsolicited. He's backseat piloting.
Yeah,
for this guy.
He is backseat piloting.
It's coming from up. If you don't know, go left.
Dodge left.
He's like, I know.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And the poor prisoner guy is just getting thrown around.
Yeah, he's just doing high G maneuvers, and he's not, like, strapped in
at all.
No, I'm surprised he doesn't die.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't, like, smack into the side of it and have his head bust
And then we'll go to one last scene with Kenneth and Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
Where
one last. There's another scene with Kenneth and Gigi.
Another one?
Yeah.
This is the one where she has the weird like bullets on the table, right?
No.
That's
the last scene.
That's the last scene. I thought that was where we were now.
No. This scene is.
They all blur together because they're just so nothing.
Yeah, I think this scene is because no. This scene is where it culminates in a beam saber fight.
Yes.
Which at that point they
lock beam sabers, and that's when they start like conversing.
And that's when he finds out there's a prisoner in there, and the guy,
and he's like, "Wow, you bastard!" And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna fight like that."
No, yeah, and he's like, "Well, so you can't fight without a hostage?" And he's like, "You can fucking have this guy."
Yeah, and then they disengage, and then he just like throws the guy out of Penelope.
Yeah, he like flies up about another 5,000 feet,
and just like ejects him, which I think the best feature of Penelope is that it has a eject the other person in my cockpit button.
You know, knowing Gundam and Mecha anime as well as I do, that's a surprisingly useful button.
It's true. It's up there with the in Seed Freedom when the woman on the bridge of the ship had the zoop down out of the bridge button.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime there's a lot of anime characters that would have lived if they had that button.
Oh yeah. Like, look, sometimes genre awareness is fun. Anyway, but yeah, just not with a parachute or anything. No. Just hurls him out of the like bets on the fact that
he hurls him out with a flashlight.
That's true.
So that Hathaway can see.
Well, and Hathaway is like looking on his sensors and sees an object come out of Penelope and is like, "Did he? Wow, he did." Like,
I guess you are a man of honor after all.
Right, and then falls backwards at a slower rate and like catches the guy.
He basically matches velocity enough so that the guy doesn't hit the face of his Gundam and turn into a tomato.
Yeah, correct. Right. Yeah. Well, and opens the door for him. So now the guy is in Valiant's cockpit instead.
Well, and the dude, notably, a lot of the ways this would be is the guy just like flies in there and like smacks into the back of the cockpit, comedy style.
Yeah.
But no, the dude chucks away the flashlight, grabs the grab bars on the front of the mech so that the pilot can swing into the cockpit, and swings himself into the cockpit. It's really cool.
It's exceptionally cool. Look, okay.
And apparently they've anticipated this, notably because they have grab bars on the back of the pilot seat.
I was gonna say, I think this has been done before.
Yeah.
But I will say, in my top 10 list of things that are cool involving mecha, people getting into mecha at high speed is very high on that list.
There's a reason why Titanfall is so fucking cool. Yes,
Titanfall does it really well. Titanfall, they're like usually just like running around, right? Yeah. In the air like this is the coolest. Actually, that's not true. In orbit is the coolest.
Yeah.
Right? Like crossing orbital velocities and being caught by your mech is the coolest thing. Anyways.
Yeah,
that happens. Okay, we don't have to. That's not. That plot issue has been resolved? Question mark.
Yeah, and then fight continues.
Fight continues. They have a fight. It's not very good. Some missiles are fired. Some stuff happens.
Yet another Gundam seeks the depths.
Yeah, it ends inconclusively.
Yeah, because Penelope smacks into the ocean.
Yeah, Penelope smacks into the ocean, but like it fired off a bunch of like missiles and stuff, and it's like both of them think they got the other person. Yeah. Right?
Yep. Both of them think they downed their opponent.
Yes.
And notably, Penelope is downed.
Yeah, that's true. Penelope is downed.
Valiant gets away.
Valiant is also pretty heavily damaged.
Yeah.
And crucially has lost the thing that he does to make him think he downed him is he throws away his beam rifle.
Yeah.
He like sets it to fire and throws it away because with all the cloud cover, the guy is shooting at where he sees the beam rifle shots coming from. He can't actually see Valiant. Yeah. Right.
Well, and notably, here's the kind of damage report for this battle.
Yeah.
Penelope's fucked up. Yeah. But they can bring it back to base and get it reworked.
Right.
Unclear as to whether or not Lane is going to be piloting it anymore.
Yeah.
They go to Inner Heaven where they're now loading up the Valiant onto their mobile outer heaven base.
They're like, congrats for coming back and beating Penelope and stuff.
And here's another character that seems very important that's showing up right at the end here.
Here's this like mechanic character. She seems important. He explains like I lost my beam cannon. You know.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you lost the beam cannon, and over half his spare parts fell to the bottom of the ocean with the pod.
Right. So we'll have to, again, it's setting up like why, the problems that this mech will have going forward. And then the movie ends. And then the movie is over.
Well, and then this is where we have the final scene with Gigi.
Oh, sure.
Because Ken talks about, Lane kind of screwed things up again and blah, blah, blah.
Gigi finally found something else to dress in too.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you were right. There was the scene before this.
The scene with the... Are they... I can't
They're not bullets. They're batteries. She puts them in a stop... Like, she puts them in this weird, like, ticking clock.
Which Hathaway had bought earlier.
Yeah.
And left in the hotel room. No idea what that's about.
And honestly, if this were a better written movie, this is what would have happened. Because the lines she says here are lines that are very much, like, setup lines that...
Yeah.
I was a deep cover, like,
right, and this is where she betrays Captain Kenneth. No, that's not what happens.
Because she very slowly and deliberately loads these batteries like they're bullets.
Yeah, I thought they were shell casings
into the bottom of this kitchen timer.
Yeah,
and then she sets the kitchen timer and sets it on the table very deliberately as she says a line that indicates. In any other spy movie would indicate she is now about to blow herself up and she has just set the explosive to do so.
Right.
And then the timer starts ticking.
Yeah.
And I half expected because then it doesn't
because these timers are because there was this whole thing earlier about Hathaway buying these timers.
Yeah.
That just nothing.
Like he has a grocery bag full of these kitchen timers.
And I don't know what they're for.
And she sets the kitchen timer. And I'm expecting at this point, because we then immediately get an exterior shot of the building, and I
expect the building to explode.
Yeah, I expect to see an explosion gout out from one of the rooms.
Yeah. Or the whole building blows up. I don't know how.
Because she says like a very ominous line, like "I don't want to live anymore" or something very similar to that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, okay, she's blowing herself up. She was a deep cover the entire time.
Nope.
This was all an act Hathaway put on because they profiled Kenneth.
Right. Yeah,
and knew what kind of like woman he was like really into.
Yeah.
And baited this whole thing. No,
none of that
shit.
No. Then we get this final scene where she's finally found again, like a hat and a sundress.
She's got a sundress and a very floppy hat.
And her and Kenneth like leave together. And
I think she leaves.
Or she leaves Kenneth.
She leaves and gets in a limousine.
Yeah.
And says something about the Count again.
Oh yeah, because there's Count Ballswood or whatever his name is.
Boundenwooden.
That's
Bounderwooden.
Yeah, because there was this whole thing about like you got your invitation on that plane from Count Boundenwooden, and he's like, are you related? No, I'm just really good friends with Count Boundenwooden. That's never mentioned again either.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, are you banging Count Bounderwood?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, not that either. He's just a really good friend.
He's a really good friend. And then again, like the movie is over. That's it. We have finished the exposition and the movie ends.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
There's all set up for dozens of like plot.
Right. There's all these characters that have been set up. The mechs have been set up. Like plot lines have been set up.
And we see
themes have been set up.
Yeah, and
then the credits roll.
Because we talked about how they set up all of like Hathaway's like backup dancers essentially.
Yes.
And they show them doing like another scene where you think there's going to be more to it.
Yeah.
Because you see them doing like all their jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, they're gearing up. This is going to be the final battle that's about to happen here for the next like 30 to 45 minutes.
Like, yeah, because we see Lane like get out of Penelope in the water and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, this is going to set up. They're going to repair Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, he's going to get kicked out of piloting it so that Kenneth can or whatever.
Yeah.
No. It's just over. It's just over.
And so I remember when I first watched this, I'm like, oh, okay, so there's gonna be a part 2 in like a year or something like that.
Right.
It's been almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
maybe they're working on it. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they forgot about it.
So strange.
Like Gundam. So notably, with anything that isn't like a mainline series that is set for TV release,
yeah,
they are very inconsistent. Because I remember the OVA for Gundam Unicorn was like, and Gundam the Origin was also like very like irregularly scheduled when new episodes would drop for those.
The weird thing about this is it doesn't feel like there's a whole nother movie. It just feels like the end of this movie is missing.
Yeah,
it just needs another 30 to 45 really minutes. Weird.
I don't remember if this one's based off of like a light novel or a manga. I think it is based off of a manga.
Okay.
So I'm curious if they just
ran out of manga?
Or I don't know. I legitimately don't know.
I don't know how any writer could look at this and be like,
yes, this is a movie.
This is a good place to end it.
Yeah.
I feel as though I've written a complete movie. Right?
Right.
How could you?
It's really weird. It's like it's again because it's all set up.
It's all set up.
It's very.
We finally have the pieces in position. Okay, let's play. No, roll credits.
Yeah, it's really odd. All set up and no payoff is not something that I would normally say about anime in general.
Not usually. Fair. Usually, anime has the other problem. It's a bunch of payoff, and there wasn't enough setup, and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and this is the inverse issue. It's really odd to see.
Yeah, there's just I don't. Yeah, it's so it's very. If you're familiar with like college math, like advanced math textbooks, right? It's very like. And the rest is left as an exercise to the reader. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, you get away with it in a college textbook, but you can't.
Well, because again, the way they do it is they show the principal director trying to teach. Well, the rest is arithmetic. You just do it on your own. Right.
Which works for that, but it does not work for an hour and a half long movie.
But it feels like this movie is going, well, the rest is just combat. You've seen combat before. We'll skip that.
It's like no, wait a minute. No, the combat was the best part, you fools!
Yeah. So weird. What a strange way to end a movie.
Really is. It's sad too, because I would really like to get to know Hathaway Noah's crew.
I don't hate what's in this movie.
No.
I was actually quite enjoying it. And then the credits rolled and it made me angry. Right?
No, that was my reaction too. Like I was like, oh, this is really good.
Like, all right, this is really ramping up. I'm excited to see the conclude. Why are there credits?
Well, that was the thing with...
Is this an intermission? Is this a 3-hour movie with an intermission? No.
Well, that was the thing, because when I first watched this movie, and I didn't have the little timer bar at the bottom because I'd moused up that. I had it full screen. I was watching it. I'm like, all right, we're really gearing up now. This is going to be really... Why are the credits rolling?
Right, because it feels like we should have another 20 minutes of, like, character dialogue.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, the aftermath of this first battle.
The aftermath of this and the setup for the next battle. And the setup,
and then a final actual battle, and then something should be decisive, and that should be it. Nope.
We don't get any of that.
None of that.
Yeah, there's like
an extra 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, like 30 to 45 minutes missing from this movie.
Yeah, sure.
It's really odd.
We would maybe find out who Count Blowwood or whatever. Wow, why is he relevant? What's the deal with where she's going? I guess it's Count Blowwood's house, and he's Blofeld. Maybe, I don't know. They have a secret base with another special Gundam that she can pilot. I don't know. Get in the Gundam, Hathaway, or Gigi will have to pilot it again. Oh, we're not. No, Evangelion, please make it stop.
Yeah, so I mean that's Gundam Hathaway.
That's Gundam Hathaway.
So yeah, this time legitimately though, we will catch you again tomorrow with your regularly scheduled
podcast.
Or I guess irregularly scheduled with how often I have been late on posting those, but
well,
it is what it is. Until then, peace.
Yeah, actual Merry Christmas this time.
Yeah, happy holidays.
What do you mean she's not a new type?